Hey everybody, on this episode of the Bus Series, I'm going to show you how I'm going to install this bumper with a couple of riv nuts to fix an issue that I had. I'm also going to install this hitch underneath that bumper, and it will take a little bit of refinishing. I plan on walking you through both of it, all through a couple of episodes coming up. Okay, so this is my bumper. It's a 1972 only part, so I have to use it. This is a spot where it was hit previous to me getting it. I had it fixed by a machine shop in Billings. They basically cut it in half and banged it out and welded it back together. So I also want to get it back to the white. You can kind of see in that inner part there, but I will address that after I get it installed. Once we get it up and installed, get the riv nuts in, get this installed, we'll deal with the paint and that spot. So let's take a look at underneath the frame here where the bumper bolts up into. This is on the passenger side. You can kind of see a bunch of junk in the holes there. There's remnants of what bolt was in there, but there's no captive nuts in there. You can't see any threads. So this is where I got the idea to use riv nuts, basically to replace those captive nuts. Because if you take a look at the other side's actually fully there. We've got two bolt holes perfectly set up. We can bolt the bumper in just fine on that side. I wanted to go over the riv nut machine that I'm going to use. So essentially what this is a nut. It's got some threads in it, and it will go up inside the hole, take this bolt and thread it in, and it is going to basically replace that captive nut that's been welded inside the frame. So let me go over what it is. This is something I picked up off of Amazon, and I will link everything here in the description of the video. This is the Tack Life. I picked it just because it was the highest rated on Amazon. That's really the only thing. It had some good reviews. Take a look at it. It is what's called a pumping rod type hand nut rivet kit. So basically it's a hand kit. It came with a case, the machine, and a few of these riv nuts. I think I ordered this separately. This is a whole assortment of additional riv nuts. So it basically ranges anywhere from, I've got some M3s all the way up to M12s. So a really good assortment of any size you'd need, plus some M10s that I already have. Now these are just whatever steel they've got. Now I went ahead and ordered also on Amazon stainless steel ones. So these are actually stainless. It's going to hold up better to the conditions in the underneath the bus, really. Essentially the way this works is you've got this deal here. You open it up and that pushes the rod out, and it also has this little doohickey here that slides, that turns that thread. It's kind of handy. So you can thread your riv nut on, drill out your hole, and then basically, like it says, it's a pumping rod. So let me actually get one. Let me not use one of these stainless. Let me use one of the ones that I already have. So say you want to use this M10, right? Use one of these M10s, and inside this kit, if you want to use a different size, say I want to change this out to, gosh, I want to use one of these, like what is this one? 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to use an M6. So it comes with a different tip for M6, which I believe is this guy right here. So basically what you do is you use the little give and wrench, you unthread it, put this through, thread it in, and so then you've got basically that setup sticking out instead of this one. This is the M10. So it's kind of handy. You can use it in lots of different applications and lots of different sizes.
So, oh, that was the M6. Yeah. So, and it's kind of nice because it comes with a little carrying case, so I can just keep it up on my shelf. I don't have to worry about it. So anyway, so if I want to run this M10, and we'll just squeeze one real quick here. We'll just to demonstrate. So I'm going to run it down on the threads until I can't turn it any longer. Make sure this little handle is turned up all the way. So you're going to thread it all the way onto the tip. Then you're going to push it inside the hole you drill. So I think for these I used a 1/2 inch, but you could obviously use metric drill bits, but 1/2 inch worked just fine. And then essentially once you get it going, basically just pull it down, and you see how it kind of mushrooms that thing. It really wasn't that hard to pull, and it will then mushroom down, and then obviously between this little lip you'd have your sheet metal, so it's going to expand a little bit more across that. When that's done, essentially this is stuck inside your sheet metal. Then you can pull this lever here, pull on it, and it runs the threads back, and then you can essentially take a little bit, but then you can thread this outside, and this essentially would be stuck up inside the sheet metal, that then you can take your bolt obviously and run it in there, and then you've got, you know, basically an area you can bolt anything to. Really handy, lots of different applications, and that's basically it. That's what I'm going to do for this guy. Again, I'll link this all up in the description and show you guys what I did, and we'll go from there. I've got those two holes to deal with. So let's see. If I try to take one of these riv nuts, that's not going to fit directly up in there. It might with a little persuasion, but I'm fairly certain that's going to need to get drilled out on this side. And then this side has a little kind of, you can't really see it very well there, maybe a little better there, how it's kind of pushed up and in from probably when the bumper was hit originally. That is going to probably need to get pried down, drilled out, something.
So I'm going to go ahead and start here by drilling out the holes to a 1/2 inch so the rib nuts will fit. So what I'm doing here is vacuuming up the floor after drilling. I just found a bunch of dirt and debris and all kinds of stuff that come out of there. And then I also like to just clean up the holes, clean inside the rail, so I was just pulling a bunch of dirt and junk out. And then also just metal shavings, you know. I like to work a little cleaner, and hopefully this will make for a cleaner, better install when I go to install the rib nut.
Okay, so now I guess I've got the holes drilled out. So this is what the rib nut looks like, and essentially it's just going to go up in that hole. We're going to use the tool to compress it, and everything should smush together inside of that, and it should create a nice little area that I can thread in, and same with that one. I've got the tool ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and get one installed. Now the trick is going to be, am I going to have enough space to pull this lever all the way? There we go. Okay. Here goes nothing. That's pretty snug. Okay, so now from here you can pull the thing out. Let's see if I have enough space here. There we go. Alright. That snugged it down pretty good as best I could, so I think that's pretty snug. Let's go ahead and do the next one. This one might get tricky. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm gonna have enough space to get the tool in there with this bracket length, so it'll take a few minutes and we'll unbolt that and pull it out of there. Okay, let's see if that gives me enough room here to maneuver. Move that forward a little bit. Yeah, we're good now. Okay. Let's go press this next one. like how that went in. See if I can get it straightened out a little here. There we go. That's more snug. That's actually not bad. I think that'll work just fine. So, and of course now what we see there is now these will bolt right up. Just like that. So it's not completely straight. I knew it wasn't going to be. I think it's still workable though. So I'm going to go ahead and test fit this bumper.
Okay, so with these riv nuts installed, now I can go ahead and get the hitch and the bumper both bolted up on the passenger side. The driver's side I'll address on another episode. Actually, I'll probably just chase the threads and it'll be fine. So there's a few things here I've got to button up. I've got to get the mustache bar bolted back up and get the engine situated back in its place. And on the next episode, you'll see I'm going to go ahead and install both the hitch and the bumper. So please watch for that. If you like this video, please give it a like. Consider subscribing. And if you have any comments, questions, whatever, throw them down below and I'll address them. So thank you again for watching, and we'll see you soon on the next video.